The head of the National Commission for Women says her organisation will initiate action against Justice A.K. Ganguly. This after a Supreme Court panel found prima facie evidence that he had sexually harassed a former intern. The Supreme Court panel indicted the retired Apex Court judge but added that it was not within its purview to initiate action. The panel said Justice Ganguly had already retired when the alleged incident took place and that the intern was not on the court's payrolls.
बिल्कुल सही है और जो कल की जो सारी रिपोर्ट्स हैं वो ये हैं कि उनका जो व्यवहार था वो ज़रूर ही स्वागत के लायक नहीं था और इसीलिए जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कमेटी बनाई उन्होंने प्राइमा फेसी में ये बताया है कि ये बात सही है। तो मैं सोचती हूँ कि वो हालांकि रिटायर्ड जज हैं, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये भी कहा है कल कि वो रिटायर्ड जज है इसलिए प्रशासनिक तौर पे हम कोई कार्रवाई नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन मैं सोचती हूँ कि उनके खिलाफ कोई ना कोई कार्रवाई ज़रूर होनी चाहिए। महिला आयोग इसमें ज़रूर स्टेप लेगा और पीछे नहीं हटेगा।
कुछ नोटिस वगैरह दिया जाएगा?
Headlines today has learnt that the Delhi police has written to Justice Ganguly's former intern seeking a meeting with her. The onus is now definitely on the Delhi police to file a complaint against the retired judge. The National Commission for Women's move, in addition to an earlier letter from the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, has added to opposition against Justice Ganguly.
I think that the people of our country look upon the Supreme Court, the highest judicial body, as possibly the only place where we have the hope for justice. And when the panel itself finds credence in the allegations made by the intern, one expects that justice will be done even in this case. For the fact that the Supreme Court, which dispenses justice, for it to ignore injustice within its own premises is not something that any Indian would be comfortable with. I am glad there is at least an afterthought, and though after the Vishaka guidelines one presumed that the Supreme Court would have had its panel set in place, but even now that the panel has found misconduct, I feel that appropriate action needs to be taken so that a message goes to the nation at large that the highest judicial body in the country also upholds all those guidelines and parameters which it legally sets for the nation.
The accusation of wrong behavior, to put it mildly, is the same whether you are serving, whether you are in service or job, or you are a retired person. The accusation doesn't change, first. Secondly, we always expect people to show a certain high moral ground from those who occupy high or who have occupied high offices. I do feel that if a person occupying such a high office, even if he feels he didn't do the wrong thing, steps down, he increases his moral stature than reducing it.
India's Law Minister Kapil Sibal said he's disappointed by the manner in which the judiciary has handled complaints against Justice Ganguly. Listen in.
I am nobody to advise the Supreme Court, and it's not my domain to do so. But I'm a little disappointed at the fact that an inquiry has been set up with reference to a man who was not a judge of the court at the point in time when the inquiry was set up. If they cast aside that matter in this fashion, it disappoints me. It disappoints me as a lawyer. It disappoints me as a member of the legal fraternity that the Supreme Court has now chosen to do away with the matter and by saying that he was no longer a judge, when they ought to have after this. If I had any say in the matter, they ought to have taken it up on the judicial side.
Ram Jethmalani is himself a Supreme Court lawyer, has been one for many decades. He came up with a counter opinion, the one that's popularly held. He said it's well within Justice Ganguly's rights to decide whether he should step down as chief of the West Bengal Human Rights Commission or not.
I don't go by the views of others. According to me, it is either those who are in charge of law enforcement who should do what their duty they think to be under the circumstances, or Mr. Ganguly has to decide for himself. Who is anybody else to decide? He knows the truth. I don't even know what the girl has told the Supreme Court. And who am I to decide whether a girl is speaking the truth or if Ganguly is denying it, that Ganguly is speaking the truth? I am nobody. I have not even spoken to Ganguly, nor have I spoken to the girl.